Hey, what's up? This is Josh from Burton Snowboards. We're here at Peter Glenn today to walk you through how to set up your step-on bindings onto a board. With the popularity of step-on and how many questions we get asked about this, we thought we'd take some time and just walk you through like truly how easy this actually is. If you can use a screwdriver, you can set up your own bindings on this board. So when you open your step-on binding box, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get your two discs, which you'll use to mount the bindings to a board. These discs will work with any board, whether you have the 4-hole system or the Burton channel. You're going to have your sets of hardware, which are clearly defined as like showing black hardware is for the channel and silver hardware is for the traditional 4-hole pattern system. You're going to get a user guide that's going to walk you through these steps, very similar to what we're going to show you today. And then you're going to get this funny looking leash thing, which is actually required legally in some states as a retention device on your snowboard. And we'll show you where this attaches to your boot and binding as well. So the only tools that you're going to need outside of what comes in your box is just a number 3 screwdriver. A number 3 just has a slightly bigger head that fits this hardware a little bit nicer. Okay, so now that we've got everything out of our box and we know what we're working with, it's time to get your board on a table. So we're going to use a Burton board for this example. Like we said earlier, the nice thing about step-on is that it works with any kind of board, whether you have 4-hole or the channel. We're going to show you the channel today just for simplicity's sake. So step 1 for the board is you're going to need to pop out these channel plugs, and you can use this screwdriver to get these out. So simply put your screwdriver in the channel, pop out the plugs, and then these channel inserts will have already come with your board in a small cardboard packaging attached to the edge of the deck. So for these, you're going to slide 2 in each side, and then insert your plugs back in. Just push them down. Okay, so now that we have our channel inserts in the board, it's time to get bindings mounted. So the first step is going to be popping open the base plate of the binding. So to do that, you simply put a screwdriver in, pop each of these tabs open, and that'll allow you to lift the EVA foam bed and show you your base plate. So now we'll need to put our disc that came in our binding box into the base plate. So what's nice about these discs is that they work for both the channel system and a 4-hole pattern all in one component, so we're not having to produce more plastic and waste with extra discs. So for this channel board, we're going to be using these 2 middle holes on the disc. If you have larger feet and for some reason need to set your binding back further towards your heel edge, there is a secondary set of holes back here that allows you to set the center point of the binding back a little bit. 99% of the time, you're just going to be using the center set of holes, so we're going to look at those. Now it's time to put the disc into the base plate, and you'll notice this arrow right here. This arrow is going to point at your stance angle. So it's good to know that every one of these notches in the disc itself represents 3 degrees of angle. So for my riding, what I like to do, I typically like a 15-degree stance. So we're going to go a couple clicks past 9, the notch of 9, indicating that I have a 15-degree stance now. And now we can rest the binding onto our channel inserts. So now they're into our inserts, and this is what's great about the channel system is that it allows you pretty much unlimited stance options. But for what we're doing today, and always a good place to start as far as stance width is to use this reference marking on the board. So the reference mark, as noted by like the REF triangle on the channel, is just kind of the recommended place where you get the correct flex out of the board and like a good moderate stance width. You can always adjust from here as you'd like. So now that we have our bindings over that reference mark, it's time to put in our black hardware. So we're going to go back to our components that came in the box. We're going to use the black hardware because it works with the channel. So we're going to pop these out, get them into our channel inserts. And what's nice about these is that they do come with a little bit of thread locking compound on them. And then you're just going to tighten. That's it. So once you have the step-on binding tightened down, there's actually one last step. So if you look inside the binding, you'll notice that there are these little notches in the back here where your EVA foam footbed will click into. They have what size boot noted on the holes themselves. So for our example, we have a size 8 boot we're mounting to this today. We're going to slide our footbed forward so that these teeth go into the size 8 hole and click in. Now you're ready to ride and mount your boot. All right, so now that your binding's on the board, now it's time to start playing with your boot. And if you've never played with step-on before, it's super easy and intuitive. One thing to note before you go out and ride, this kind of crazy looking clip on the back is for your pants. So definitely make sure your pants are, tucked inside this clip nice and safe so they don't interfere with the mechanism of the binding itself. So always make sure to get your pants locked into this clip. And then all of our material, it's just heel, toe, go. And that's as simple as that. So you go heel first, stomp your toes down, and there's actually a secondary click you'll notice built into the back. We did this intentionally in case you ever find ice or snow built up on your boot. You can still get into your binding and ride safely away. I've never not heard that second click. It typically always goes on your first turn of the day, and it's click one, click two. They're both just as safe. It's just a convenience feature for ice and snow. And then to release your bindings, you're going to want to lift the lever, step forward, and our new tow hook 2.0s, they release really, really easily. So that's it. That's how to set it up. That's how it works. A few notes on just maintenance and traveling with your board. So if you're throwing this on the roof of your car or in a board bag, we always recommend folding the high back down. Conveniently enough, they actually sort of lock into these tow hooks a little bit and keep the high back nice and low so they're not getting banged around. It's always good to occasionally pop this footbed open and make sure your screws are tight. Just like you would, check the tire pressure on your bike before you go ride. If you're going from a warm car, out to a 20 degree day on hill, sometimes those screws tighten and contract just like any material would. So always give these a check every now and then, make sure they're tight, keep your high backs folded down, and you'll be good to go. So as far as this leash that came in your box with the rest of your binding parts, we'll show you how to get this on. This isn't completely necessary in most places. Just be sure to check with your local mountain if they do require these things. By no means is it something that's required to make the binding work. It's just an additional safety features that some resorts ask you to wear. So to get it on, you're just going to loop this through the base plate of the binding, like so. And then once your foot's in, you would just grab this clasp, and there's a nice little loop here where you can put this on. And that's it. Just be sure to check with your mountain and make sure if this is necessary.